Look at a horse. Really look at it. It is bigger than you, faster than you, stronger than you. It can kill you with a single kick, and it knows it. Now answer me this. What kind of lunatic, 5,000 years ago, looked at this enormous, panicking, half-ton wild animal and decided to climb on its back? That person changed the entire course of human history, and we are only now, with DNA, beginning to understand who they really were. Welcome to Archaia. For almost the entire human story, our top speed was about as fast as we could run on our own 2 legs. For 200,000 years, no human being had ever moved faster than a sprint, not once. And then, somewhere on the vast grasslands of Asia, that changed forever. A human got on a horse, and suddenly our species could outrun the wind. It is impossible to overstate how much this single act reshaped the world. The horse gave us long-distance travel, trade across continents, mounted warfare, the spread of languages, the rise and fall of empires. For the next 5,000 years, right up until the invention of the engine, the horse was the fastest thing on Earth that a human could control. But here's the question nobody can quite answer. How do you even begin to tame an animal like that? To find the first clues, we have to travel to northern Kazakhstan, around 5,500 years ago, to a mysterious people known as the Botai. The Botai were obsessed with horses. We know this because when archaeologists excavated their settlements, they found bones, horse bones, everywhere. In some Botai homes, around 90% of all the animal bones recovered were from horses. At first, the obvious explanation was that the Botai simply hunted them. But then the evidence started getting strange. For one, archaeologists found roughly equal numbers of male and female horse bones. When humans hunt wild horse herds, they tend to kill more females, which are easier targets. Equal numbers suggested something else. Managed breeding, a herd that was being kept. Then they found the corrals, enclosures where horses appear to have been penned in. Then they analyzed the soil inside those enclosures and found chemical traces consistent with horse manure, layered up over time. You don't get layers of manure from a wild animal. You get it from animals kept in one place. And then came the smoking gun. On the teeth of some Botai horses, researchers found a very specific kind of damage, bands of wear on the premolars, the exact kind of wear caused by a bit, a mouthpiece, the thing you put in a horse's mouth to steer it. 5,500 years ago, the Botai weren't just keeping horses. They were bridling them, riding them, maybe even milking them. Researchers found traces of mare's milk residue baked into Botai pottery. This was it. The oldest evidence of horse domestication ever found. Case closed. Except it wasn't, because decades later, the DNA told a completely different story, and it broke everything. In 2018, scientists did something the original archaeologists never could. They sequenced the ancient DNA of those Botai horses, and they compared it to the DNA of every modern horse alive today. They expected a match. They expected to find that every horse on Earth, every racehorse, every pony, every farm horse, descended from these pioneering Botai animals. They found the opposite. The Botai horses were not the ancestors of modern horses. Not even close. Modern domestic horses get less than 3% of their DNA from the Botai line. So what were the Botai horses? In an almost poetic twist, the DNA revealed that the Botai horses were the ancestors of something else entirely. The Przewalski's horse, the stocky, wild horse of the Mongolian steppe that, for over a century, everyone assumed was the last truly wild horse on Earth. It turns out Przewalski's horses aren't truly wild at all. They're feral. The escaped descendants of the Botai's domesticated animals, gone wild again over thousands of years. So the Botai really did tame horses. They genuinely did it. But their horses were an evolutionary dead end, a first draft that the future quietly deleted, which left a haunting new mystery. If the horse you've ridden, the horse you've seen, the horse in every cowboy film and every history book did not come from the Botai, then where on earth did it come from? The answer arrived in 2021, in one of the most ambitious genetic studies ever attempted. A team of 162 scientists, led by paleogeneticist Ludovic Orlando, gathered the bones of 273 ancient horses from across all of Eurasia. They sequenced every genome, and they hunted for the true homeland of the modern horse. They found it, not in Kazakhstan, but far to the west, in the grasslands of what is now southern Russia, in the region around the lower Volga and Don rivers. There, around 4,200 years ago, a new kind of horse appeared. Scientists call this lineage DOM2, and DOM2 had something special, subtle genetic differences linked to a calmer temperament and a stronger back. In other words, a horse that was easier to control and better built to carry a human being. And then, something happened that the researchers described as almost explosive. This new horse spread across the entire ancient world at staggering speed. Within just a few centuries, DOM2 horses had conquered Eurasia, and as they spread, they almost completely replaced every other horse lineage on the planet. The Botai horses, the wild European horses, all the local varieties, they vanished, swept aside by this one superior bloodline. The scientists found that this explosion happened at exactly the same time as another invention started appearing across the steppe, the spoke-wheeled chariot. Think about what that means. The moment humans bred the perfect horse, they immediately strapped it to a fast war machine and used it to ride out and dominate everyone around them. Every modern horse on Earth is a descendant of that one population, from that one region, from that one extraordinary moment around 4,000 years ago. So, here's the truth at the center of all this. The story of the horse is not one heroic moment of a caveman jumping on a stallion. It's messier and stranger and far more human than that. People tried to tame horses and succeeded, and those horses were forgotten. Then, 1,000 years later, a different people, in a different land, bred a different horse, and that one changed everything. It's a reminder that history almost never has a single clean beginning. The first to do something is often not the one who changes the world. Sometimes the breakthrough that reshapes everything is a quiet second attempt on a windswept plain that no one at the time even noticed. Some unnamed person by a river in southern Russia 4,000 years ago bred a horse that was just a little calmer than the rest. And because of that one choice, humanity learned to fly across the ground. Every hoofbeat in every war, every messenger who ever changed the fate of a nation, every cowboy, every knight, every horse you have ever seen, all of it traces back to them. The people who didn't just tame a horse, but built the one that would carry us into the modern world.